So, hi to you all. I'll use my text to respect your time. So, I'm really happy to be here today to tell you about the Goethe-Institut São Paulo amazing board game collection, or Ludothek. I'll introduce you what we do, what we have, and what our partners said, as well suggesting what libraries can do to do the same in their libraries. But first, do you know what Goethe-Institut is? So I can tell you that we are the German institution of a Federal Republic of Germany. We care deeply about fostering understanding between Germany, Europe, and the wider world. We are a global family with more than 150 institutes in 90 countries around the world. In my home country, in Brazil, which is as big as a continent, we have 4 institutions. So what we do in Brazil and around the world. We are dedicated to help German language integrated in the education systems and also offer digital services in 65 languages to make it easier to everyone to connect. Second, we train, advise, and create networks for creative professionals. We are dedicated to create, supporting, and develop sustainable structures for the creative and cultural industries. We'll talk more about it, about board games. And thirdly, we present a contemporary, critical, and participative image of Germany in the world. So this was a small introduction demonstrating the scope and the potential of our creating new projects in Goethe-Institut. And we do also in libraries. So we are considered special libraries. What this means that libraries work with special subjects. In our case, our main objective is to present Germany, its culture, and the entire universe surrounding the German language, its historical, social, and cultural expressions in abroad. We are a group of 87 libraries in 65 countries, and we are here to help each other grow and improve. We all have the chance to create and develop projects that reflect our identities, where we are based, and that's why we have this special character of our communities. This allows to express Germany and their culture in each location for each audience. So in São Paulo, we chose to show a special reality about board games and our project called Ludothek. Our project. Our collection, which now has approximately 2,050 game titles, started just with 10 games. And acquired as a small basic collection and remained on a shelf for years. When I joined this library in 2021, I took 3 games one day to home. And just as a curiosity, these 3 games had my Eureka moment, was Ticket to Ride, Concept, and Pandemic. So I'd like to tell this story because it's the first step to encourage my colleagues, librarian colleagues specifically, to work with board games. I became a player by gradually get to know this game media and its universe, like we do also with books, with films, and other medias. So I also have my preferences, my tastes, and they help me to build a qualified collection. I wasn't, and I am not, a heavy user of board games, not yet. But I learned to make a selection to characterize better our basic collection. And then we have so many selection criteria for it. The first criteria is we need board games to learn German language, and board games in German for native speakers. With these games, we train to improve speaking skills. The second characteristic is board games with themes that are interesting for us as a library. For example, classical music, literature, and board game mechanics that help us to address specific skills. For example, cooperation board games, family games, non-verbal games, non-verbal communication games, and etc. These two characteristics I'm telling about subjects, but also we have characteristics about provenance and authority. The another characteristic is award-winning games, for example, Spiel des Jahres, or Brazilian Award National, and board games for small publishers and independent authors. Also, another part of our work is the networking between different players, game designers, publishers, game events, awards, audiences, of course, and bookshops, and etc. The part of this work is unique, and is possible because the institutional role of Goethe-Institut, whose mission states as strengthening this creative scene, as well, the next topic I will talk about it, establishing network with and between partners in the creative scene. A good example that I can give you was in 2024, when I held a meeting for a B2B audience, not for a B2C audience, as normally. We invited the CEO, communication CEO from Spiel Essen und Spielwarenmesse, Frau Scarlett Wisowski, and she talked to our audience about the difference between these two trade fairs and which one might be more useful for game designers, for example. This meeting resulted in a future funding from the Goethe-Institut for 3 Brazilian game designers to participate in pitchings here in Spielwarenmesse to present their games and prototypes. This brings me to the third topic, which is professionalization and career development, such as workshops we offer to teachers and librarians to use of board games for education, and the organization of interdisciplinary seminar on board games and libraries. All those examples are projects that we have already piloted and delivered status and results. So they show the variety of possibilities that our library work with these subjects. However, I want to remark one point. I think it's a key point. The broad scope of these activities is possible because we are a unique institution. As I said, we are in all continents. We work in more than 150 institutions. And we address a culture that values board games highly, German culture. So it's easier for us at the first sight. Second, our scale. Our scale gives us the power of persuasion and reconciliation between partners and major players. We don't just address board games itself, but the entire dynamics of a cultural scene. Third, we have a relatively good capacity, or we had, I wish we had more again, a good capacity to finance our projects internally, in addition to possibility of raising national and international funds due to the nature of our activities. And we have our institutional support to carry out this three-pronged project, cultural, public, and staff, which involves audience, training, and cultural programming. But after all, I want to I bring these examples to don't just talk about Goethe-Institut possibilities, but also my idea is briefly share some highlights or some ideas to engage on other libraries to gain benefits from this closer relationship between board games and players. So, how can we start a project structure? First aspect to consider three possibilities for engaging with board games and choose one of them of target. This makes it easier to argue with our institutional management, but also focus our material and human resources. It's important to think strategically in these points, based on what we want in the long term. For example, if you want to build audience with loyalty, you have to address all your energy to audiences projects. Or if you want to address professionalization, you have to think about your staff. This seems so basic, but this is important. These are bases of your project. You need to focus. Second, you have to build better. You have to build know-how to identify potential partners, internal and external, your institution. For example, libraries. We, as a special library, we have one justification to do works with board games. But if you are in a school library, it's possible that teachers and pedagogical coordination should be your allies. Or in a corporation library, you can use your human resources as help. So externally publishers, stores, authors are the first options, not only for partnerships, but as a colleagues also. So you might to train your site for this. Who can be my partner in this game? 30. Engage members of the scene. Open your space for events. Provide opportunities for conversation, mediated by you. Publicize partner events. This shows that work can be done better if done as a network. And partners are enablers, but they can also suffer from our bureaucratic barriers, such as conflicts of interests, impossibility of advertising in, for example, public services, or insufficient funds for payments, and etc. So in advance, you need to discover it, find out these barriers, and then build new possibilities before your partner find it. And the last but not least, be visible. Know where people read and learn about board games. And beware where audience is. Where your partners are seen, you are seen too. You need to be there. So I give those examples and best practice for each type of action in our library. And I will start with following examples. Good examples about audiences. For example, here we have an organizer for our event. This event called Vila do Borde. The organizer of this event asked us for space to host their event. We didn't have any more space, unfortunately, but we had contacts with another libraries. And then another awarded library in Brazil hosts their event. And just in the first day, they had over 1,600 visitors in the first day. So more people play board games, more people learn about our libraries. So that's a good example for it. The second one, qualified cultural programming. Board games can be an excellent option for libraries that don't have a budget or even don't have know-how to create new cultural events that bring together collections, informations, and interaction. So here I have an amazing example of Brazil, BGZO, Board Game Zona Oeste. I need to tell this for you because this is quite special. They filled a library with over 100 people playing board games on a Saturday during Brazilian Carnival. I come from Brazil, and you should know what Carnival means for us. So I was really, really impressed how this group could fill the library with 100 board gamers in the carnival, during the carnival. So And this also a special event because they have clear policies of inclusion, diversity, which supports the library offering qualified programming and a safe space for different and social groups. And the most enjoyable interviews that I conducted was with my friend, librarian also, Magali Machado. Her library was a pioneer to host board games events in São Paulo. And here is important to emphasize their team training. A team training which welcome players to embrace different processes and audiences. And why not a team that plays, maintains a healthy characteristic of being versatile and prepared for real life outside the game board's challenges. Our conservative view of the role of the libraries needs to be overcome. So we need to see libraries also as modern places for modern board games. And that the board games can also help the traditional media, as, for example, books, help to have another place in society. And this can coexist with different practices in the library. For example, silent reading or solitary reading. It's not a problem. They can coexist. And this library, which hosts the BGZO, the Carnival Group, as I mentioned, is an excellent example of how to engage a team and welcome players in their movements. So today I tried to address what we do, our library, in São Paulo to support board game scene, but above all, how to be a library that plays. We play with all players, publishers, retailers, events, in a nutshell, with all board gamers players. This makes us and our library as great enthusiasts of board games, and we want to bring this excitement to many places as we can, including honorably present here in the largest board game fair in the world. And my last word should be, libraries and board games needs go to hand in hand. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank, Patricia.
Gern.
Wir haben noch Zeit für Fragen. We still have time for some questions for the audience. You can ask the questions in English or German. You understand some German? I can translate otherwise. So don't be afraid if you're not, if you don't want to ask in English, ask in German. We can translate. No problem at all. Do we have questions? Just raise your hands and I will gladly throw the cube at you.
One there.
Over there? Yeah. Please catch the cube and then give it back to the... See there? Achtung. And throw it to the back, please. Perfect.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Last year, we had a number of designers from Brazil come and share their experiences of the developing board game community in Brazil. So it's really great to hear how it's continuing to evolve. One of the questions that you talked about was bringing in, using the games to teach German language and German culture. With the designers and the games from Brazil, like Samba de Roda and like all those, how can you use those games to preserve Brazilian culture as well and also influence game designers outside of Brazil?
If I correctly understood your question, you asked how to preserve Brazilian culture during the board games in the industry.
Yeah, instead of, the danger or worry is it might just be that board games only come from these regions and not ours. So how do we make sure that like Brazilian culture and Brazilian life is preserved in the gameplay as well? How do both coexist?
Another project that we had in Brazil, in Goethe-Institut library, was a project with, we have a black neighborhood in São Paulo, called Liberdade, in English, freedom, Freiheit auf Deutsch. And in that community, we have a really strong history about slavery and suffering of Black people in Brazil. And then we started a conversation between the game designers and the community to draw a new board game. And this board game should be like a tool for education for new generations and also for the whole community. So that's one idea, to preserve the Brazilian culture itself. And I think another form to help is we brought here to Germany past year 3 Brazilian game designers. One idea as Goethe-Institut is help to translate culture between Germany and Brazil. And translate Brazilian board games, also Brazilian historical subjects in board games, to German is a form to preserve, I think. So we can help with this both Richtung.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? Doesn't seem like it. Behind you. Behind you is a question. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hello? Just 2 questions. One, are you a gamer?
Yes, not a heavy user, but not yet. I am.
And your favorite game?
The first game that I really was amazed was Pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Because I never had played a cooperative board game before. So I was really impressed. And of course, Pandemic World, sad history, but was really amazing to learn and to oh my God, I can play with my colleagues, not against my colleagues. So this was really impressive to me. So I think it's my favorite board game.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question if you want. Otherwise, the room Saal Deutschland in Kongresszentrum Süd. I know it's very German, but you can see it's CC Süd. There's a conference room. You can meet and connect. That's what it's called, meet and connect. And all the speakers are going to be there, and a lot of other people as well to network. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And have a good trip.
Thank you all.
Wir machen 4 Minuten Pause und sind dann gleich wieder da. We have a 4-minute break and we're back in a couple of minutes.